Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. The Indian Prime Minister faces huge protests as he visits the city of Chennai. We'll tell you why. What did we actually learn from the 2 days and 10 hours of Mark Zuckerberg talking to US politicians? Is our relationship status with Facebook? Still, it's complicated. And tempting headstands when you're an adult and not properly trained can lead to fails like this. I speak to a doctor who says social media may be to blame. And this monkey is being sought in connection with a crime he definitely committed. It was all caught on camera. We'll show you later in the show. Well, top of our news feed, hashtag #GoBackModi is leading global trends on Twitter. The phrase, or demand rather, has been leading worldwide. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in the city of Chennai, and if Twitter is to be trusted, they don't want him there. Well, have a look at this tweet. This is how Tamil Nadu welcomes the Prime Minister, it says. Its author also added that this is why you shouldn't underestimate the power of South Indians. Nia Punya is here to tell us why.
Mr. Modi is considered to be an extremely popular leader, not just in India but across different states. But that wasn't the case when he landed in the state of Tamil Nadu on Thursday. Instead of a rousing welcome, he was shown black flags and was greeted with placards that said, "Modi, go back." And the reason for that anger is because Tamil Nadu is one of the two states in southern India, the other one being Karnataka, that are currently fighting for a larger share of water from the river Kaveri. Prime Minister Modi's government was expected to set up a board to decide how that water sharing would take place, but that board's formation has been repeatedly delayed, which is why you're seeing anger not just on the streets of Chennai and in Tamil Nadu, but also on social media. Go Back Modi is the top international trend on Twitter on Thursday. You've got thousands of people tweeting using that hashtag, most of them expressing anger with Prime Minister Modi's government. You've got Rachit Seth here saying, when the Prime Minister is greeted by black flags at the airport by people across party lines and has to take refuge in a helicopter to reach the venue, then it is certain that he has lost the trust of the people. When Prime Minister Modi landed in Chennai, there was such a large crowd of protesters outside, he couldn't leave the premises, so he had to take a helicopter out of the Chennai airport. You've got this meme, which is doing the rounds as well. This is the state of Tamil Nadu, painted black, telling Prime Minister Modi that they're all angry, they're all speaking in one voice and asking him to go back. Another image on Twitter doing the rounds, Prime Minister Modi ostensibly looking down, seeing black flags being let go into the air by protesters in Chennai as well. And the final one, a reference to what the phrase "Go Back Modi," where it comes from. This is a picture of the pre-independence era protests, Simon Go Back, which is when India was demanding independence from the British. And those are the same words that are now being used in Tamil Nadu against Prime Minister Modi. Neha Punya, TRT World, New Delhi.
All right, let's have a look at what else is trending on social media. Well, Stan Lee created some of our favorite comic book characters. Think about Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but he's found himself in a dispute which may lead to him losing his home. So the director, Kevin Smith, and others in Hollywood have taken to social media offering to help. Stan Lee is 95. This is Brenna Spencer's graduation photograph, and yes, that is a gun tucked into her waistband. She posted that she doesn't support other US students pushing for more gun control. Now, of course, she's copped heaps of criticism, but she's also been given plenty of support from these two. This is Antonia Okafor, and this next one is Alana Mastranello. They posted on their Twitter feeds images of them openly carrying in support of her Second Amendment rights. Well, next. Oh, hi, Mark. The head of Facebook has finished talking to politicians in the US, and what did we learn? Well, we found out that he is really sorry that tens of millions had their data harvested without their explicit knowledge. We found out that he's really sorry his platform may have been used to influence elections around the world, but we may never know to what extent. And we also found out that, yes, he does own a suit. Well, the technology journalist Jeff White has been following the hearings and joins us now from Cambridge in the UK. Jeff, good to speak to you now. What struck you most as most important and interesting from these 2 days of evidence?
Well, Kamali, I'll let you into a little journalist's trick, and this has been used by investigators as well. If you take somebody's mobile phone number or their email address and you stick it into Facebook and hit go, sometimes you get their Facebook account. It's an extremely useful tool. I've used it in investigations myself, but it turns out I'm not the only one who knows about it. There are apparently people, perhaps one person, doing this on an industrial scale, going to Facebook. They've been sticking in email addresses and phone numbers and potentially hoovering up all of the publicly available information linked to those email addresses and phone numbers. Somebody somewhere has effectively been making a copy of the public bit of Facebook. That's not something that we knew about, despite all these Cambridge Analytica revelations. It's not something it seems Facebook knew about until recently. And that doesn't just affect the 87 million people affected by Cambridge Analytica. That affects potentially all of Facebook's 2 billion users. That came out of clear blue sky for me.
Absolutely. I mean, and he revealed that he had his own data harvested. If he can't keep his own stuff safe, what luck do the rest of us have?
Yeah, it's comforting, isn't it, to know that the man who founded Facebook is not immune to the, click here to find out which X-man you are kind of quizzes. It seems Mark Zuckerberg himself took the psychological quiz that's at the heart of the Cambridge Analytica controversy and then had presumably his psychological information harvested and, like the other people who took that quiz, potentially exposed the publicly available information of all of their Facebook friends. And again, that came out during the hearings on Capitol Hill over the last 2 days.
Concerning, isn't it? And yesterday, one thing that struck me was this idea of shadow accounts, where Facebook may have your data, but you're not actually on Facebook. How worried about that should we be?
Yeah, well, I imagine people who don't have Facebook accounts have probably been looking at this with a sense of sort of smug pride, really, in themselves. But you're not off the hook if you don't have a Facebook account or even if you're not logged in. It's a bit complicated, this. There are two things going on here. On the one hand, there's how people's data is used when they're logged into Facebook, how that's shared, who it's shared with. That's the Cambridge Analytica bit. There's a whole other side to this, and it works like this. If you visit Facebook, even if you don't have an account, you're not logged in, somebody sends you a link and says, look at this. As soon as you visit the site, they give you what's called a cookie, which is a little bit of code that sits on your laptop or your mobile phone or whatever device you use. Now, think of that like a ring binder with an ID on the front. From that moment forth, every site that you visit that's got that little thumbs up like button on it, whether you click the button or not, whether you're a Facebook user or not, Facebook records the fact you visited that website, records when you did it, potentially where you were when you visited, and it stuffs that information inside your ring binder. Now, it doesn't know who the ring binder belongs to, whether it's you, whether it's me. But what's happening is Facebook is building up more and more of those ring binders, recording your web visits as you go around the internet. And that information applies whether you are a Facebook user, whether you have an account or not. And when people talk about shadow Facebook accounts, that's the information they're talking about. It should be said, Facebook aren't alone in that. Google has made megabucks doing exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. We all give data away, so we should probably expect it. Jeff, thank you so much for now. Now, an Australian researcher reckons that social media could be to blame for an increase in yoga-related injuries. Dr. Betul Sekindis says that people attempting to do things like these, advanced yoga positions after seeing them on social media, are resulting in more people getting hurt. Well, Dr. Sekindis joins me now from Rockhampton in Australia. Doctor, just talk us through your research.
Thank you for having me. So what we've done is we have looked into the emergency department presentations in Victoria. That includes all of the emergency departments of the 24-hour hospitals. And we have looked at the time frame between 2009 till 2016 to analyze the injury risks related to doing yoga. And what we have seen is over this 7-year time period is an 80% increase in the rate of the injuries. So we tried to find out what might be the potential causes for this enormous increase in this injury rate, and tried to see if this could be related to the number of more people doing yoga. However, when we looked at the number of people partaking yoga, there was only actually around a 5% increase in this number. So we could not really associate the rise in the number of injuries with the number of participants. So we really then need to look into the environment and what's been happening within the industry. We know that social media has been having a huge influence in influencing and promoting physical activity behaviors. We are really not against that. But how physical activity is being promoted is, I think, now coming under the light. So on Instagram, Facebook, there are a lot of influencers who are also making quite a lot of money out of this business by showcasing themselves, focusing on their sex appeal in tight clothes, showing themselves in really very difficult yoga positions at some really very risky environments, which is obviously made to attract more likes and attract more attention. So it's really directed towards attention grabbing rather than actually thinking about the health and well-being of the people who may also want to get into the same positions, or maybe under that influence also want to take same kind of photographs and post on their profiles to attract same kind of likes. So we know that yoga is classified as a low intensity and low impact physical activity, which actually focuses on more on the spiritual development rather than the physical development. And so the way that yoga is being promoted on social media is actually really going against the philosophy behind yoga and what it actually aims to achieve.
Absolutely, a real message of our times, Dr. Sikendis. Perhaps we should probably just all stick with downward dog. It's the one that I find easiest to do. Thank you very much for your time, Doctor.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Now, how skilled are you in the kitchen? Regardless of how good you think you are, how would you do if you had crazy small equipment like these people?
Türk mutfağı zaten gerçekten şatafatlı, büyük bir mutfak. Aynı zamanda zor bir mutfak tarifinden tarifine. Fakat bunu minyatür dünyada yapmak çok daha zor. Bu çarpı 3 katı zaman demek. Fakat ilgiyle yapınca, onunla eğlenince ve ortaya güzel bir şey çıktığını görünce aslında o süre benim için çok zor olmadı.
I would need a lot of that mini feast to satisfy my hunger. Well, the next guy that we're going to show you goes by the name of Mahmoud Magic on YouTube, and he's got some pretty good tricks. Have a look. And this is the moment to reveal to you what that shady character was up to at the beginning of the show. Yes, this is him, the monkey Miscreant, posted on the Instagram account Brown Cardigan. He was filmed stealing a phone in Bali. Now, he needs to be brought to justice immediately. You can tell that this is not his first offence. The whereabouts of the phone and the monkey are currently unknown. Well, that's all from the Newsfeed team. Do reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.